Aw, animals.
United keeps sending dogs to the wrong cities. United has been on a roll when it comes to pets. United Flight 3996 from Newark to St. Louis actually had to be diverted last Thursday because the geniuses found a dog that was accidentally aboard the plane. The four-legged flyer was supposed to be flying to Akron, Ohio, but was put on the wrong flight to St. Louis. The plane then had to take an extra 2-hour detour to drop the pup off in Akron to its owners. The airline's blunder turned a 2-hour trip into a 4-hour escapade for the passengers, who were compensated for the delay, hopefully not with another free United flight. Last week wasn't the best for United. They also suffocated a lady's French bulldog puppy and sent another dog to Japan instead of Kansas. United needs to seriously consider carrying only pets from now on. I mean, what could go wrong? Forget about buckling up, but keep watching. United shoves dog in overhead bin, and it ends badly for the pooch. United knows how to treat its customers. A dog passed away on a United Airlines flight from H-Town to the Big Apple on Monday after a flight attendant ordered the animal to be shoved into an overhead bin. Witnesses said the woman's dog carrier was sticking into the aisle, so a kind, thoughtful United flight attendant told her to stow the carrier and her pooch in the overhead compartment. During the flight, other passengers said they heard the dog barking. Unfortunately, after arriving in New York, it was no longer barking because it died. The dog's owner responded by collapsing to the ground in the aisle and bawling her eyes out. United apologized on Tuesday and said it's paying for the dog's necropsy and is refunding the tickets. Aw, how sweet. It also noted that pets should never be put into the overhead storage compartment. Well, almost never. Wait, this isn't Kansas. United Airlines mistakenly shipped one family's dog halfway across the globe, their second pet-related mishap in just a week. Kara Swindle and her family were moving to Wichita and booked United tickets to fly from Oregon to Kansas City. Their German Shepherd Ergo was too big to be in the cabin with them and had to be flown in as cargo on a separate flight. But when they got to the cargo facility in Kansas, the Swindles were shocked to find a huge Great Dane waiting for them, with Ergo nowhere to be found. The airline eventually figured out that the 10-year-old dog had mistakenly been sent on a 16-hour flight to Japan instead of the Great Dane. Supposedly, someone from the pet resort at Denver Airport let the two canines out during a stopover and then put them back in the wrong kennels. Idiot. Ergo has been checked by a vet in Japan and was put on a plane back to Kansas on Wednesday night. Here's hoping that poor dog doesn't get separated again. Bird in cockpit forces Delta flight to turn around. A Hotlanta-bound Delta flight was forced to hang a U-ey after the crew found a bird flying around the cockpit. Before the flight, the pilot happened to see a sparrow board the plane, causing the flight to be delayed as crew and maintenance workers searched for the little feathered fellow. After a delay and an unsuccessful search attempt, the pilot decided to take off. Wouldn't you know it, shortly after the aircraft took off, the sparrow reappeared again in the cockpit, so the pilot decided to turn the plane back around. After getting back to Detroit Metro Airport, crews were finally able to grab the little guy and get him off the plane. In the end, after a considerable delay, the flight eventually made its way down to Atlanta. No word on what airline the sparrow ended up taking. Airbus plane engine falls apart over the Atlantic. An Air France flight en route from Paris to Los Angeles was forced to make a slight detour when one of its engines disintegrated over the Atlantic on Saturday. The Airbus A380 was just east of Greenland carrying 496 passengers and 24 crew members when one of its engines experienced a serious failure. According to passengers, there was a loud boom and then a lot of shaking. Luckily, the fast-acting pilots quickly shut the engine down and were able to stabilize the plane in under 30 seconds. The plane flew for about an hour on 3 engines before arriving at Goose Bay Airport in eastern Canada. 2 777s were eventually sent from Montreal to pick up the passengers and take them the rest of the way to LA. The cause of the engine failure is still unknown and currently being investigated.